¿Cómo estás? Bien? Oh, muy bueno, muy bueno. What's going on, you guys? Let's see. I just felt like making a video. I was kind of bored, and I just felt like it. I'll go over a couple just sort of bullshit things on stuff I've seen recently. My sunglasses on. Stuff I've, my last week, the last couple weeks, stuff like that, and I just wanted to bullshit for a little bit. I started watching it, actually. I haven't gotten around to it, but I actually had a little bit of time, so I figured I'd watch a couple videos of other truckers, YouTube vlogs and shit like that, and it was like, fuck, I need to make a video. So, I figured I'd make one real quick. You know what? One thing I will say about other truckers' vlogs, some of them are pretty cool. I like Mark State. I like his videos because he's a good talker. He gets to the fucking point. He's a little bit more PG rated than I am, obviously, but like that's a problem I have with a lot of these dudes who come on, and like Ike Stevens, like I don't know if he makes videos or anymore. I guess he said he's not, whatever. He's got a fuckload of subscribers too. But some of these guys, it's like, get to the fucking point. You have an 11-minute video where it takes you 8 minutes to say one fucking sentence, and then 5 minutes discussing that sentence. Like, just fucking say what you mean. You can have a lead-in, like, let me explain what I'm gonna talk about real quick, but don't just keep fucking going on and on and on, like, fucking this shit, Yeah, so, I wanted to, talk about, orientation. Sorry, I'm figuring something out right now. Like, fucking, do what you gotta do and then fucking make the video, you know what I mean? Don't be filling out paperwork, just filling out my trip sheets right now. Hold on, I'm writing down my load information. Fucking wait till you got some free time to make a fucking video, But anyways, made me feel like I wanted to make a video. I don't want to drag this story out too long, but I'll tell it real quick. I ran a copper load a couple weeks ago out of New Mexico, and which is the best load in the fucking world. Great load. Fucking New Mexico to Connecticut. 2,600 mile load. It's a 4-day load, 4 days and some change, I think, yeah. Awesome fucking load to be on. Super great. Coming out of New Mexico, you're riding through the Great Plains, and it's an awesome load. They sent me a message, my DM did, and he said, hey, I think I was in Amarillo at that point. I'd driven a day, and I spent the night in Amarillo, and he said, you want to go ahead and, can you do us a favor? Can you pick up a driver in Arkansas and bring him to the yard? I said, okay. Why not? Fuck it. I mean, in a way, if your DM has like a special request, it's a good idea to, if you can, help him out with that special request, because he'll help you out later on. You know what I mean? So I've done a couple little special requests. Hey, could you do this for me real quick? Pick this load up and then bring it here real quick. And I could do you that favor. That's fine. I'll. But anyways, ran all the way to Arkansas to pick up this guy. And his DM called me. He's a dry van driver for our company, and I didn't really know what the story was. He just needed to ride back to the yard. It was like, whatever, I'll give him the yard. I picked him up, right, and started talking to him. And he told me his story. So this is this guy's story real quick, right? He used to be an owner-operator, owned a couple of trucks. Then he, I guess, gave up his trucks in his divorce or some shit like that, whatever. Was out of trucking for a while or something. Decided to come back and I guess he wanted to, work at this company. He was going to come back and get in, like, refresh, get in back into the industry, whatever. And he was going to drive flatbed. And then after a few days in training, decided, fuck this shit. I'm just going to haul a dry van, which is nothing wrong with that. If you're going to figure out that you don't want to haul flatbed, you'd rather just haul dry van, which is kind of a better way to start out. You'll make a little bit more money and get a little bit more skill hauling flatbed, but it's a lot fucking harder, and it's a lot harder to start out. It's a lot of goddamn work, which I'm okay with, but not, I'm just saying, like, there's nothing wrong with starting out in dry van. But if you're gonna realize you don't want to drive fucking flatbed, in training is when you should raise your fucking hand and say, I'm not down for this. Not when you're already out on the road on your first flatbed load. You're like, fuck, they want me to tarp this shit while it's raining and it's 40 degrees outside, and it's the end of the day, it's dark, it's nighttime, I'm fucking tired, and I gotta tarp and strap this shit, and then I gotta, and most flatbed shippers and receivers, you cannot sleep on site. I know it's like that on some dry van, but like the dry van loads I ran, there was always somewhere very close where I could park it and sleep. Not in flatbed. Sometimes in flatbed, you're 40 fucking miles from the nearest place you can even park and sleep. So, you got to be right on your hours, and, I don't know, you just got to manage your fucking time. But he went through training. He decided he didn't want to run flatbed. So they said, okay, we'll put you in the dry van division, but because he lives out in Colorado, you have to be based off the West Coast, because in dry van for Western, there's East Coast or West Coast. There is no Central. If you live in the central part of the United States, like I do out of Houston, you got to run flatbed for them. They don't have any terminals in the Midwest or the South, the Deep South, or whatever. It's Los Angeles, Nashville, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and I believe there's one in Iowa, but I don't know if they run dry van out of it. But my point is, they said, we're going to base you out of the California terminal. So you're going to need to go get your truck from the California terminal. Now, I don't understand that, but I'm sure they have their reasons. I don't know why they didn't just give this guy a truck off the Nashville yard. Don't know. Maybe the California trucks are registered in California. I don't fucking know. But I feel like they could have just given him a fucking truck. But whatever. They wanted him to hitch a ride with another dry van driver, run team with him until he gets out to California. They'll run him out to California on a load, and, hey, pick up your truck and you're good to go. Well, they didn't make it that fucking far, all right? They ran around for a couple of days, but he's riding with this other guy, another dry van driver for this company, and I guess the guy was like a 20-some-odd year veteran of, he'd been driving for a long fucking time. He was an older guy, like maybe 40 or something like that, right? Well, the guy who hitched a ride with me went to go sleep in the bunk, and the guy who was driving dropped his drink on the floor, and he reached down to grab that fucking drink, and he had his hand at noon, and when he went down, he pulled that fucking wheel with him, and he took it off I-40 in Arkansas, and he drove that motherfucker into the woods, which is crazy. It's like, god damn, like, you didn't hear the rumble strips, you didn't feel that truck leave the roadway. As soon as I hear the rumble strips, that's like, fucking, we're going off the road. But anyways, that guy drove into the fucking trees, and it's just a crazy fucking story, because this guy woke up. He's on the bottom bunk, and he wasn't really all that asleep, just barely asleep, and he started hearing tree branches smashing on the side of the truck. And he looked up, and all he saw was darkness. He said he looked up, he didn't see the road. And then they're whacking trees, and then they start smashing through trees. He said you could hear the fiberglass just fucking exploding off the front of the truck. And so they finally hit a tree and came to a stop, right? And then it fucked up the whole truck. It destroyed the front end. The dashboard came off. The driver was, I guess, I don't know if the guy was not wearing a seatbelt or something, but he fell over onto the floorboard, and then the guy in the back, he got thrown onto the floor, and he got up, and he's hurting, and he as soon as he kind of looks around, he sees the truck is on fire. The left side of the truck is on fire. I guess they popped a fuel line or something. But he goes to get out, but he notices this guy is stuck, so he helps him out. They climb out the windshield and slide down the hood, and they said a minute later, whole goddamn truck, the whole cab was up in flames. You know, and the truck, the trailer, the load, the whole nine burned to the fucking ground on the side of I-40. Now that's a gnarly story. You know what I'm saying? That's a crazy story. Lost everything. You know, didn't have any shoes on, didn't have a jacket. It was like 30 some odd degrees outside. You know, didn't have socks on. He was just wearing pants and a shirt. You know, lost his fucking, I think he I don't know if he saved his wallet or not, but he lost everything. You know, and I was giving that guy a ride back to the yard. They were going to put him on light duty for a while, and you know, whatever. But it's just crazy, you know, like, you've been driving for 20 odd years. I mean, maybe the guy was just so complacent. He's like, you know, I've been driving without a problem for this many years. Like, I'm not, you know, and he reaches down and he jerks that fucking wheel and drives it right into the trees. You know, that's one thing about this job. You can't, there is no such thing as a comfort level. The only time I'm comfortable is when I'm on the interstate in light traffic, in good weather, in the daytime, just running 63, 65, you know, like Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska in a straight line, no mountains, no obstacles, you know, just that is when I'm in the comfort zone. As soon as anything else happens, at night, it starts raining, traffic gets heavy, go through a city, you got to get off the interstate for any kind of reason. That's when, you know, you go back on high alert. You're almost, and then, you know, if you're in winter weather, you know, I mean, snow and salt, like, there is not much of a comfort zone in this job. And it doesn't matter if you've been driving for 5 minutes, 5 hours, or, you know, 15 years. Like, there is no, you can't let yourself get too comfortable. You know, that's one thing I'll tell you right now, and my limited experience on the road is, you know, you can only be comfortable when you're out on the road in a straight line, no curves, good weather, light traffic, in the middle of fucking nowhere, 2-lane interstate, with the sun up, sun shining, everything is peachy. That's when you can be comfortable, you know. But other than that, high alert. Mountains, curves, traffic, cities, fucking all that shit. You know, you always got to be on high alert. But I don't know, it just kind of goes to show you, I guess. But that's that fucking story. I just, you know, wanted to share that. I think it's pretty crazy. You know, it's a little bit of an eye opener. You know, it's the kind of shit that can happen. You know, I could just be making this video. You know, I could head out on the road after my reset, and, you know, you never know. But one thing I will say, kind of leading into that, is truck crashes that somebody brought up. Like, I keep seeing all these videos and pictures, whatever, of horrible truck crashes. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a freight train on wheels. It is literally, it's a fucking freight train on wheels is what this fucking thing is. You know, I mean, you got a little bit of sheet metal, some fiberglass, and some fucking glass windows protecting you from everything else out in the world. You know what I mean? And, you know, this is one thing I will say. If you do your job right and safely, you will never be in a crash that you cause, ever. It is 100% completely fucking avoidable. Okay? This whole entire job. It ain't about driving a truck. It ain't about hauling freight. It ain't about fucking anything other than making decisions. You get paid in this job, in this industry, all you do every waking moment of the day is make decisions on everything. You make this, you know, I'm coming up on okay, this looks like a tight turn. There's a telephone pole right on the corner. I got to make a right. Okay, so I'm making a right. You know, I can't go out wide, and there's traffic there. It's like, okay, should I wait until all the traffic clears? How long is the traffic gonna clear? Can I swing wide? Am I gonna have to, you know, swing over into some lanes? Am I gonna miss that telephone pole? Am I gonna hit the curb? Am I gonna run over the curb? or should I find another way around? But what if there's not another way around for a while? You've got to make that decision in a span of maybe 5 seconds. Am I going to try to make this tight fucking turn? Or am I going to just keep going and risk, making the load late, or getting lost, or getting into an area that that a truck shouldn't be in? You're making constant decisions. You make a decision every couple of seconds in this job. You got to be a good decision maker. But if you make good decisions, and if you don't know what to do, you go, if like, I got a decision to make, I'm not sure about this decision, I'm going to err to the side of safety, you will always be fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all it is. It's risk assessment, risk management, and making good decisions. If you do that shit, you will be 100% fucking fine. Like, winter weather, I drove, like, that was another, that leads right into the next thing I was going to talk about, the fucking blizzard of the East Coast. I drove through that shit last Saturday. Now, I wasn't in the worst of it, which is how I was able to actually fucking drive through it. Because from what I heard, if you were anywhere else, like around New York City, Philly, or Pennsylvania Turnpike, you were parked. You were done. I was in kind of central New York, right? I-84, I want to say, I-84. And I was just catching the upper tip, the northern tip of the fucking blizzard. But it was pretty fucking gnarly. And, I could have very well made the decision to say, I'm parking it, and I'm not running for it. That's my decision. But I know myself. I'm confident in my abilities. Came through it, Scott. This is the second blizzard I've driven through in the last 2 months that, like out in Wyoming at night, just blowing rain and sleet, and the, windshield's freezing up as you drive. You can barely see the road, but, just crawling it at 30, 35 miles an hour, just eyes on the road, radio off, just making it happen. You're not going very fucking fast, but, just trying to make it happen, so, and that's, you got to be confident in your abilities, and I was, and I took some pictures of it. I-84 at one point looked like a fucking county road. There was so much snow on it, you couldn't see shit. You could just see 2 guardrails and then a bunch of trees. You could tell where the road was most of the time by the rumble strips. Like, it got to the point where it was a single file line, straight down the middle, because you couldn't tell where the fucking lanes were, right? But, and I crawled it a good 35, 40 miles an hour, real fucking slow down the hills, real slow up any hills, and I made it to my fuel stop, and I took my reset there, and hung out there for all Sunday, and I was good to go. Newburgh, New York, at the Pilot there. So, but it's all about decisions. I came across a guy in a 4-wheeler who stopped in the middle of the goddamn interstate. He just put on his hazards and stopped. He decided it was too snowy. He didn't want to continue on, I guess. I don't know maybe his car died, but he parked it dead center, I-84. Now, granted, it was snowy. There wasn't a lot of traffic. Traffic was moving very slowly. There wasn't very many people on the road. But still, it's like, dude, get your fucking car out of the middle of the goddamn interstate. But I made it through. Very, 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 very fucking cautiously. That's how you do it. Either that or you could just park the truck. And I could have very well just parked the truck. I chose not to. I wanted to make it down to my fuel stop and take my reset there within 3 hours of my delivery in Massachusetts. I wanted to get close enough so that Monday morning, 3 hours down the road, boom, delivered. Start out early Saturday morning. Or Monday morning, rather. Was coming out of Detroit, which, by the way, quickly, when I was in Detroit, I delivered in the neighborhood Eminem grew up in, like literally, like less than like a mile from his house. Thought that was cool, just saying. Any fucking ways, I did have to run another fucking trash load. I'm gathering that freight's kind of slow, flatbed freight's kind of slow right now. because I've been running these kind of shitty fucking loads around the Northeast lately, and that I don't usually have to run, and it's kind of sucked, but I'm hoping things will pick back up. I'm trying to work out the trainer thing anyway. I need to get back to the yard. This truck is starting to do some screwy shit. I just rolled over 300,000 miles yesterday, so I need to get her into the yard, and she's 10,000 over on a PM, and she's starting to have little issues. The city horn doesn't work, and the truck's wanting to auto shut down when it's cold until it warms up, and it's doing really fucking weird shit. So, but I'll be turning this in for a newer truck anyway when I become a trainer and shit. So that'll work out. But I got stuck in the mud out there down the street from that fucking landfill that I made those videos about, and I had to have, it was my fault. I made a wrong turn. I tried to turn around, got stuck in the mud, had to wait for a wrecker. Wrecker showed up, pulled me out. Wasn't that big of a deal, And I got stuck again yesterday in snow this time. Was trying to turn around. This time, kind of still my fault, but not as much. This place is real tricky to get into. You're supposed to pass it and then turn around in an empty lot. Well, that empty lot hadn't been plowed, and it was 3 inches of snow, but I didn't realize there was ice underneath it. I got stuck in the fucking ice, had to get pulled out again. So it is what it is, man, Pennsylvania in the wintertime, goddammit. Let's see. One thing I wanted to do, which I will do today, is give you a tour of my truck. I figured, when I was, this will kind of cater to anybody who is gonna come work here and maybe get a Freightliner, but also for anybody that's gonna get into trucking that hasn't been yet or is in training or whatever the fuck. Like, you get to see my truck, not like, this is the inside of the Freightliner Cascadia, and these are all of its features. No, you get to see, like, what my setup is. Everything in my truck is set up specifically the way I like it, for the most part. There's a few things that I want to change, but I'm not going to waste my time because I'm going to get another truck, within the next couple weeks. But, I'm gonna clean it out first. I've been running fucking real hard this week. I've been busy. Last 2 weeks, I've been busy as fuck. Just running load after load after load. Straight. They gave me a load today, and I had to call dispatch and told them. I said, dude, I don't have the fucking hours to run this load. I said, I need a reset, dude. So I told him I'd love to run the load. It's a good load. I just can't do it. I got like 12 hours left on the week clock and shit. Which. E-logs, I was going to talk about e-logs too, I guess, in depth, because I watched some videos on e-logs, people talking about them and shit, and it's, people have different questions on them, but I do want to talk about e-logs a little bit, especially since they're making they passed a law in December, in case anyone doesn't know. All trucks are to be equipped with e-logs, and I think 2017, maybe 2018, the whole fucking industry, unless Congress changes their fucking mind, the whole industry's going e-logs. It's a fucking e-log mandate. So, just in case anybody didn't hear about that, paper logs are, the days of paper logs are fucking numbered at this point. But let's see. I'm working on. I talked to my DM about the whole trainer thing. I'm actually, tonight I gotta finish I gotta take some online exams. You got to take some courses to become a trainer, so I got to finish my online shit, and then I get back to the yard and finish my training there, load securement, blah blah blah, and all that bullshit. And I figure maybe that'll make for some interesting videos, but I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've been looking through some of these other, like, listen, I told you I like Mark State and I like some of these other guys, but some of these guys, man, I'm gonna tell you what. I like my fucking videos more than I like their videos. Some of these guys are just fucking boring. I mean, even if you're not getting a whole lot of information out of this video or something like that, at least it's kind of entertaining. Shit, I watch my own videos every once in a while, and I make myself chuckle. you know. You know, so yeah, it's it's 25 minutes into this motherfucker, so I guess I'll end it here. Damn, I wanted to kind of go in depth in some of this shit. Maybe I will. I wanted to talk about maybe winter driving. You know, that's one thing I wanted to go into, but I don't like to talk too much about things that are kind of either you're gonna learn in training or are not that fucking interesting, or they're common sense. You know, it's like some of the shit you should know. But if anybody wants to know about anything, I'll make a fucking video about it. I've said that before. Just ask, you know. But all right, well, that's it for this one. Let me clean this truck out, and then I'll make another video. You know, the tour of the truck and shit, so I could show off my little space capsule I live in. So, alrighty.